Hi, this is Mr. Word. I'm going to do a short video on how to factor trinomial quadratics where the lead coefficient is annoying. I did a much longer one if you're looking for some of the whys this sort of works, but I'm just going to walk through the nuts and bolts of it right here. So here, I want you to follow along these steps. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a number, you're going to find two numbers that multiply to get the product of the lead coefficient and the last coefficient. So you want A times B that equals 10 times 7. And you also want two numbers, the same two numbers, A plus B, that equals the middle coefficient, which is 19. And you could work this out by guess and check and so forth, but a really quick way to do it is just go straight to Desmos. Now in Desmos, I'm going to use X and Y because it'll work that way, and it's going to give us a graphing system of equations so you can find the two numbers by finding the intersections. So I'm going to start with the A plus B equals 19. So I get A plus B equals 19. And the other part of that was A times B equals 10 times 7. So I'm sorry, which is going to be X times Y equals 10 times 7. And you'll see the red graph is a straight line. X plus Y is 19, and the curvy thing is X times Y equals 10 times 7. And I get two numbers, 5 and 14, or 14 and 5. And those are the numbers I want, because I'm going to split my middle term into those two numbers, 14 and 5, or 5 and 14. So I'm going to rewrite this by saying 19x is 14x plus 5x. And I'm going to group that. So that's the first thing. I split it up. I found those numbers using what is known as the Kutu crossover method in our classroom because it was developed by a student of that name. And now I'm going to find the greatest common factor. I've grouped the first two together with parentheses and the second two with parentheses. I find the greatest common factor in each group. So 10x squared and 14x, they share a 2 and an x. And when I pull a 2x out of 10x squared, I'm left just with 5x. When I pull a 2x out of 14x, I'm left with 7. And then 5x plus 7 share no factors other than 1. So I'm going to pull a 1 out of there, and I'm left with still 5x plus 7. And the nice thing here is I have a shared factor, 5x plus 7 and 5x plus 7 for each of those. So 5x plus 7 is one of my factors. And the other one is a combination of the greatest common factors, 2x and 1. So I get 2x plus 1, and you would check that out to make sure it worked. 5x times 2x is 10x squared. 5x times 1 is 5x. And 7 times 2x is 14x. And we already know 14x and 5x equals 19x, so that's good. And 7 times 1 equals 7, so that checks out. I'm going to do it one more time with this other one. 21x squared minus 22x minus 8. That looks ugh. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So I need two numbers that instead, I'm going to copy this real quick. Okay, so I'm looking for two numbers that instead of multiplying to be 10 times 7, they multiply to be 21 times negative 8. And they add up to be negative 22. So we're going to go into Desmos and set that up. So they add up to be negative 22, and they multiply to be 21 times negative 8. And you could work out what 21 times negative 8 is, but you don't actually need to for this. You can just put it in like a product like that. And now this time, we get this kind of graph. And we got this intersection and this intersection, 6 and negative 28, negative 28 and 6. And so we go in here and we're going to split this up. Okay, the negative 22 is going to become negative 28 plus 6x. Let me confirm that. 6 and negative 28, yep. And now we're going to group that. I made a point of putting the positive one as the second part of that split so that I could easily put a positive in front of the right-hand grouping. Now I'm going to get the greatest common factor. 21 and 28 share a factor of 7, and x squared and x share a factor of x. So 21x squared becomes 3x, and then negative 28x becomes 4. Okay, now I'm going to look at 6x minus 8 and see what I can factor out there. I can factor a 2 out of those, so plus 2. And then it's going to be times 3x minus 4 once I factor that out. And now I have a shared factor between 7x and 2, the two greatest common factors, of 3x minus 4. And then I can make the other factor the combination of those two greatest common factors, and I am done. So the last thing we want to do is just check and see if it worked. 3x times 7x is 21x squared. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And then we put together our inside and outside products. 3x times 2 is 6x. Cool, that was one of the pieces that we split it up into. And negative 4 times 7x is negative 28x. And negative 28x and 6x do add up to negative 22x. So we have our factors. And I hope that was helpful. If you'd like more examples, go to my other video that's much longer. And I'm going to stop now before I get too long.